What we do here is go back.
Good evening, welcome. It is Saturday the 19th of, what month is it? September 2020. How you all doing? Hopefully you're having a good evening wherever you are in the world. It's starting to get really dark here in the UK. Clocks are going to be going back or forward or whatever the hell they do very shortly, but in a moment it's dark, very dark. So I am wearing sunglasses indoors for that very reason, because it is really dark. But there is another reason why I'm wearing them, obviously, because I am a total shill, and our good friends, or now good friends, over at Gelid have sent us over a goodies bag, a set, effectively. So we sent over the Phantom Black cooler for us to put through his paces, which we have actually been doing today, which has been a massive amount of fun, and I was very, very surprised. I'll leave it at that for now, but we've got a full review coming up in the next few days, so check that out. Obviously, if you're not sure about Gelid, then you can check out their website from the address on the glasses if you zoom in, possibly. I don't even know. Can they see that, Kath? Can you see that in the screen?
What's that, sorry?
Can you read what it says on the glasses?
Yeah.
Yep, good. Okay.
Don't know.
Very good. Also, they did send us over, which I'm actually really interested to test, a new thermal pad, which is supposedly extremely good. And it's kind of almost like a silicon carbon. So a little bit better than some of the ones we've had previously, which were those kind of mesh ones, which were a little bit weird. They worked, but they weren't brilliant. So I'm actually looking forward to trying that out. And also, because they think I might actually take a look at it, they've sent over some GC Extreme. So this is their new Extreme Thermal Cooling Compound, which comes with an applicator and a nozzle and all these other kind of cool things to basically cool down your system. I have tried this today, like I said, and yeah, it is absolutely amazing. For the price, I would say comparatively it does knock on the heels of some of the big players. The mounting mechanism wasn't as easy as straightforward as I'd hoped it would have been, but the price definitely makes up for it. So the recommended retail price for this at the moment in euros is 37 euros. So that equates to about £35, or around about, I think it's about $45. So for $45, a 200 watt cooler, yeah, potentially this is going to be a bit of a game changer. Hardly anyone has actually reviewed this at all anywhere, at least not in English spoken languages. So there are some Europeans that have done it, and I don't understand a word they're saying. So I've started from scratch and taken it as it is, but yeah, definitely worth checking out. So yeah, we'll be taking a look at that. Also on the desk tonight is a controller, again from our friends at Easy SMX. Now this is primarily designed as a controller for Nintendo Switch. Now, I don't own a Nintendo Switch, so this is a really, really hard thing for me to review. So I emailed them and said, look guys, thanks for sending it over, appreciate it and all that, but I'm really more of a PC and Xbox kind of guy. I'm really struggling with this. It does work with PC, but it's not really designed for PC. So all the buttons, all the layout is basically designed for Switch. So they said, well, don't worry, we'll send you something else to review instead, but maybe you could give this away to some of your viewers. So yeah, I thought that sounds like a really good idea. So heads up, there will be a giveaway for this. It will be on our Facebook page. So if you're not following us on Facebook, do that now. Go to facebook.com/Mike's Unboxing. You can just put a like on the page or whatever, but we'll be posting that on there. We'll post it on our Discord, and we'll probably post it on our social media on YouTube. So yeah, if you want one of these, then yeah, we'll do a giveaway. We'll just draw a name out of the hat, and some lucky person is going to have a brand new controller that I can't use. So that is that. What a week it's been. I got to take his glass off. Oh my god. They're pretty cool. I might wear those to work one day. What a week it's been in technology, people. We've had lots of new releases. We've had some paper releases. As some of you will already be aware, certain members of our little community, without naming names, ClickTech Kev and Skystalker, have both tried to get themselves a 3080 this week and kind of failed semi-miserably. Skystalker, I think, is still on the prowl looking for one, and he's rather displeased that it hasn't gone to plan. Kev, I think, has actually, Kev has actually managed to bag himself, not the one he intended on, but a subsequent replacement, as I was just reading on our Discord. So, nice one, Kev, well done. And Skystalker, don't worry, it will happen for you. You will have that RTX goodness in your shopping cart one day. So, on that bombshell, let's have a look and see who is in the chat. Oh, wow, you've got loads of you in here tonight already. Appreciate you all stopping by on this Saturday. I don't know what it is at the moment. There's a weird thing on YouTube. Pretty much seems everywhere. There's like this all kind of, everyone's a bit meh. You know, meh. It's like, I think you've got kind of, COVID's come in again, apparently. We've got winter coming. We've got darkness coming. It's just very, meh. Summer's over pretty much. And everyone is a little bit kind of, we really need something to lift us. Maybe like a AMD product launch next week. Or week after. Whenever it is. Pretty darn soon. Or maybe just a Q-link. Links in the description below. Anyway, let's say hello to some of you who are in the chat. So Angry Doge was first. Dave Burns, coming up the rear, so to speak. Paul Bakewell says, hello all. Zach's, is that Zachers Coins? Zachers? Zars Coins. I'm not good. That might be Bills and Coins. A rename.
Yeah, I think it is.
Billy K says, hey guys. Mr. Donut says, hello. Oh, I could murder a donut right now.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, I have to sit opposite one. She's gone very quiet. I'm in trouble now. James Miscellaneous says, yo, Angry and Billy. James Miscellaneous, fellow YouTuber. If you haven't checked out his channel already, please feel free to do so. Also, Dave Burns, also known as AKA Achea Shadow, who also is a streamer extraordinaire over on the Twitch, which is where all the kids hang out, and it's the cool thing to do, apparently. I'm a little bit too old for that kind of thing, because I'm not a young person, where all those cool people hang out. But after the stream, there may possibly, potentially, maybe even be a stream from the legendary Achea Shadow. So feel free to check him out on Twitter. Who else have we got in here? Ugly Bob's in the house and says, evening y'all. DJ Army says, hello everyone. Skystalker is in the house. Skystalker, what a fantastic individual. Sky is, at the moment, is definitely my my pilot or co-pilot or wingman or whatever you want to call it. We've been playing some Flight Sim 2020, which, I've got to be honest with you, I am loving Flight Sim 2020. I've only got a humble RTX 2060 and a relatively mediocre processor, the Ryzen 5 3600, but still that game just plays really, really well. Last night we were doing some crazy ass landings in all kinds of darkness and weird stuff and rain and fog, and yeah, it was just tons and tons of fun. And if it wasn't for Mr. Skystalker guiding me in, then yeah, I would have been a whole world of hurt, I think. So thank you, Sky. We appreciate that a lot. We did actually stream it a little bit on our Discord, so if you want to watch the streams of me attempting to fly various aircraft, then yeah, you can join us on our Discord and you can check it out. DJ Army says, bye gentlemen, good night, have sweet dreams. That was short but sweet. Who else is in there? Ugly Bob. Waldo135 says hi. Hiya. Mr. Meatball says, next week I'm going to build a PC, so these will be helpful. Yes, tonight's stream, even though we're 10 minutes in already and I haven't even discussed it, is 10 or more things you definitely should not be buying right now. But we'll also be discussing some things that you should be buying right now, just to try and hopefully balance the equation. This week has been full of all that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of people, I'm getting a lot of questions on the YouTube saying, Mike, what should I get? I've got this available in my country, I've got that available in my country, this is coming out, that's out of stock, what do I do? So we'll hopefully try and answer some of those questions for you all tonight, and maybe answer some questions that you've never even thought of asking. Ruth Wick says, it's time. Waldo135 says, hi Mike, remember me? Don't know. Possibly. Yes, you did. I think you sent a question to one of the YouTube videos about a £700 build guide, possibly. Yeah. Which actually, saying that, yes, that was exactly it. Because I did the placeholder PC build this week, so if you haven't checked out this week's videos, that placeholder PC build was essentially tailored around that £700 build mark. So with stuff you can actually buy on the shelves today and actually are kind of sensible solutions. There was a few things you can tweak. It was on a PC part picker list, but hopefully, Waldo, it was helpful and yeah, give you a little bit of guidance in these stormy weathers. Gulag Spectator says, hi everyone. James Miscellaneous. James Miscellaneous says, while this music makes me want to sledgehammer puppies, Mike and Kath's warm smile fixes it all. Thanks, James. Click Tech Kev says, Discord crew in the house. Don't forget, Click Tech Kev. Go over to his channel, check him out, check out his stuff, check out the reviews, share some of that YouTube loving. Nigel Thomas says, good evening all. Ugly Bob says, hey Kath, what the feck does he have on? Well, I've explained that, that's all right. Or you're on about the Mike's Unboxing t-shirt, which is available to our Patreon subscribers or backers, however you want to put it, for a very, very cost-effective price. And also is very good for cleaning windows, apparently. Okay, I can't. Shivansh Tivari? I don't know what you said. Just putting it out there. Ladios says, is the text on his glasses moving or am I just pissed off my mind? I think it's you. I don't think the text was moving. Maybe you should see an optometrist. Wow, that was a big word, Kath.
Why?
Optometrist, so I didn't even stutter or stumble on it. I said it twice then.
But can you spell it?
Can't spell it. Ugly Bob says, Kath Churchill, have you been knocking him about and he has a couple of shiners? No, that hasn't happened. We are very against violence of any kind here at Mike's Unboxing, unless it is an old hard drive or a particularly difficult to fit CPU cooler, in which case violence and aggression is required. Definitely. Ugly Bob says, did they not send you a PC to test all that on too? No, that would have been very nice. Pierre Plays YouTube, also another YouTuber. Can't stop as my bro wants to something video games, but wanted to pop in and say, have a fab stream. Thanks, Pierre. Appreciate it. Ricardo says, I'm sorry, but I'll have to skip the stream today. See, there's a lot of it about today. Everyone's got that kind of, got stuff to do. Kota says, whoever disliked this has a pre-built. People always dislike the videos. It's absolutely fine. I totally don't care. Because there's a lot of you that actually click on the like button to balance things out. So if you haven't done that already, feel free to go ahead and do that right now.
Thank you to all those.
Yeah, and thank you to all those that have already. I think some of you, yeah, I think some of you have already. So that is cool. Matthew Day says, how big are your indexdb.edb files in users, username, app data, local packages, Microsoft Edge, app data, user default, indexdb? I'm not sure. I'll need to check that out. A letter's in the house as well. I just completely skipped over a letter for some reason. It says, hello, Kath, Mike and people.
I think that was our first time.
Hello to you. Where are we? Ricardo says stream. Oh yeah, the Google voice still needs adjustment. Is it me or... Actually, I'm going to have to turn this bad boy off a minute, although it probably won't work. Actually, let's try it. Hey Google. Damn it, worked.
No, everyone's doing it.
The mic's off.
The mic's off. No, I'm still talking. Have any of you been having problems with your G device at the moment? There's this really weird thing which is going around which seems to affect pretty much all the G Home Minis, where when you say the trigger word, the OK G, it comes up with the thing saying sorry, there was a problem. Try again in a moment, or try again in a minute. It seems to be there's something that they've put into the firmware recently, and it seems to be doing it on loads and loads of devices. So if you've maybe only got one, or maybe you've got 2 or 3 dotted around the house, check it out. Just say to your Google, just say to your G device now, hey, trigger word, see what happens. It's something to, I don't know what it is, it must be something to do with it going into like a deeper sleep or something, and it doesn't quite wake up, so you trigger it, and it's not got an internet connection because it's in sleep mode. I think that's what the problem is, but they haven't fixed it, and it seems to be a big problem. So yeah, let me know if your devices are having the same issue.
The mic's off.
I know the mic's off. I'm turning it back on.
Is back on.
There you go. Okay. Chill the F out. Anyway, Ugly Bob spits his drink out and says, doesn't own a Nintendo Switch. No, I don't. Do you know what? I actually, I don't have a Switch. George actually has one, but it's his, and I'm not touching it because if I break it, it's his thing. And I'm not really into the consoles in a big way, which is weird because I've had an Xbox for a very, very long time. And yes.
We only turn it on to update it, and that's about
Yeah, that was the thing that always frustrated me. I know Windows PCs have to do updates, but you can generally kind of put it to one side. Consoles are a pain in the backside because you turn them on and immediately it's like, you've got 5 minutes to yourself or 10 minutes to yourself, so it's like, oh cool, I'll play some Katamari or Need for Speed or whatever the case may be, and immediately you get a warning saying, your device needs to do an update. This update is 3.5 gigabytes. And you're like, oh my god. So by the time it's actually downloaded that, which those Xboxes and PlayStation aren't the fastest, just Wi-Fi or however they're connected, then they do all the unpacking onto those old solids, onto the old mechanical drives inside them. It just takes forever. So by the time it's updated, it's like, oh, well, there's my 20 minutes or whatever I had spare. Maybe next time. Hey ho. Anyway, so we've had a super chat from Hugh Wong. Hugh Wong's dropped in 99 cents and gave a smiley face. Thank you, Hugh. And Hugh has actually been commenting like crazy on YouTube videos recently, so we really do appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. And Ugly Bob has also joined in and says, okay, G-word, Achea Shadow smells. That's how it was going to end up tonight. I think that's going to be the. If you want to if you want to say things that are offensive to each other and to your fellow colleagues, possibly on Achea's stream later there'll be some quiplash and also some. What's the other game? I forget now. Murder in the Dark? No.
I don't know. Murder mystery.
Murder mystery thing. Anyway, there's basically games we play online as adults saying adult words. So if you want to say adult words to other adults and possibly other people, yeah, feel free to join us. Right, where do we go? A letter says, I slammed the like button religiously. Thank you. We appreciate that. Right, let's get on to the subject of...
got a question
Oh,
I've been asking for a long time.
Koto had a question.
Do you prefer G-Skill Tridents, RGB, or Corsair Vengeance RGB?
Ah, right, okay. I've got... Yeah, I was getting there. Actually, Koto's got a couple of questions. I just noticed there, Daniel Hutchinson says, hiya. Hi, Daniel. That's one of my daughter's friends, so gotta say hi to the fan. Matthew Day says, I've been looking at the whole screen for 10 minutes. What did I miss? Nothing, you're good. Oh, wow. I've missed out loads of stuff here. I do apologise.
We just get into the questions.
Yeah, I was kind of getting to the questions. I don't know. Kota has had many questions. Question from Mike. Do you prefer white theme build or black theme build? Personally, I don't know. I think it depends on the system and the components and also where it's going. Previously behind me were the 465X is currently. There used to be the InWin 101C, and I got to be honest with you, in this particular room, in this setup, the InWin 101C was the much better looking PC. It looked really good, it stood out, and it was really a nice showpiece. So it depends where it is. I do actually like white PCs in general, white builds. I think they do show off the RGB a lot better. So if you're into RGB, then a white case is generally the way to go. But I don't think it really makes a difference. As long as it looks nice and you like it and it didn't cost you a fortune, then it's definitely all good. It's at times like this when I wish that super chats would come up at the top so I knew what was going on.
British Noob, I'll donate a lot if you bully Adder, Thug and Doge.
Oh, right, okay. British Noob, yeah, I'll donate a lot if you bully Adder, Thug and Doge.
Don't do bullying.
We don't really do bullying. We do take the piss, but bullying is a slight level above that. Maybe we can do some of that instead.
About taking the piss or bullying?
Do some taking the piss and of the bullying. British Noob says the Switch is one of the best consoles for price and games. It might well be. But it just, for me, it's always been PC. PC for me is the way forward. PlayStations and Xboxes come and go, but I always go back to the PC. Ever since that fateful day in 1996. Did we get our PC in 96 or was it 97?
96.
Yeah, we got our PC in 1996, and from that very day, there has never been a time that we have not had a PC, or at least one PC from that point onward. So yeah, we are definitely PC through and through.
We even had a printer with ribbon in.
Yeah, we did have a dot matrix color printer. Wow, that was going back. Kota has another question, so I've quickly just seen that, so I'll answer it. Question for you, Mike. Do you prefer G.Skill Trident Z RGB or Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro? The Trident Z, I would say, is the more universally compatible and possibly will clock higher. Corsair Vengeance Pro is really good. If you've got a Corsair setup, Corsair Vengeance Pro makes a ton of sense. I have noticed that Corsair Vengeance RAM in general, across the various brands, does seem to have a slightly higher than usual return rate, I would say. Quite a lot of people have experienced issues with Corsair RAM and had to have it returned, but I suppose they do sell even an absolute boatload of it. So the more of it you sell, the more chances of it having issues or faults or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see. So, okay, let's talk about things that are actually part of the content of this video. So 10 things that you should and should not be buying right now. Well, 10 things you shouldn't be buying. So part of that list is, for obvious reasons, RTX 2080 Ti, RTX 2080, 2080 Super, 2070 Super, 2070, 2060 Super, and RTX 5700 XT. So that is, I would say, the bulk of the graphics cards that you definitely should not be buying now at their full retail price. If you get an absolutely, and I mean like kind of 50% discount off of those cards, then of course, totally, absolutely worth it. If they're brand spanking new, maybe 40% off would be a good kind of trade-off, I guess. Depending on the prices. Prices is what it always comes down to. It's very difficult for me to say, yeah, don't buy this, buy this. It all comes down to the regional pricing and obviously availability. As a lot of us have found out this week, the paper launch for the nvidia RTX 3080 was literally that. It seems there's more of those cards available to YouTube reviewers than there are to actually the general public, which actually makes it even worse, I think, especially when you're... I've actually made a specific point this week of not doing anything 3080 related at all, because it's just horrendous. It's an absolute nightmare. They have got what was potentially a hot product because it was seemingly good value for money, which it still isn't. Let's face it, it's still a $700 card, which is a ridiculous amount of money. There's a lot of people around the world living in countries where they don't earn that a month or sometimes even a year. So put things into perspective, it's still kind of god tier. Even though it's half the price of the previous one, it is still god tier graphics card, no matter how you look at it. But still, there isn't any available, so you can't buy them anyway. Now, a lot of people have been allegedly buying them and then putting them onto eBay for ridiculous pricing and doing the scalping. But people have got wise to that now and put in some crazy bids, so basically they're not going to pay the bid and the scalpers are going to lose out. So you may find in the up and coming week, maybe week or two, you may start seeing a few of these cards. Personally, I'm of the opinion there will be a lot of people who will buy them and not be entirely satisfied, especially if you're looking on Amazon. And I would put money on there being Amazon warehouse deals on the 3080 in the coming days and weeks. If there isn't, okay, I'll put my hands up and say, right, I called it wrong. But I think there will be. I think it's still a lot of money for a lot of people. And if they've kept hold of their previous card, maybe their 2080 Ti or 2080 Supers, the jump in performance, although it is big, isn't as huge as we were led to believe. The 2 times improvement performance, which was kind of hinted at, is basically non-existent. It's, what, 50% realistically, 20% if you're lucky on a lot of titles. Certain things, productivity, yes, there has been some significant jumps, but overall, gaming-wise, at those higher resolutions, which again, god tier resolutions, 4K gaming, there's been, what, 25% performance increase, which if you've just sold a card which cost you maybe $1,200, you've sold that at a loss, a massive loss, possibly, and then you've bought yourself another $700 card, which is, what, 20% faster. You've shelled out the best part of $2,000 on a graphics card, which is kind of not really that fast, or as fast as we'd thought it might have been. So it's a really horrible situation. So realistically, at the moment, like I've been telling a lot of people, placeholders are the way to go. Now this works out for graphics cards, GPUs, CPUs, the whole shooting match. Even for laptops, don't buy a laptop right now because there's a lot of new stuff coming out from AMD in the upcoming days and weeks. We've got a lot of the 4000 series which has hit the shelves already for the summer kind of back to school term, that kind of thing. So we've seen some of the 4000 Ryzen processors in laptops. Lenovo, Acer have done some fantastic ones, and we've actually got an Acer one coming in the next couple of days, so we'll be taking a really close look at the new Nitro. That is going to be awesome. But we've also very, very likely going to have the 5000 series and the mobile versions of that. So there's a lot of stuff in the pipeline. We've got the 5000 series processors from AMD, which it looks like that's what they're going to be called now, the 5000 series rather than the 4000 series, as we kind of hoped or expected it to be. They're trying to make some kind of definite segregation between the different types of branding, etc. I personally thought that AM5 would herald the new 5000 series chips to keep things all kind of nicely in sync and in the same kind of product categories, but obviously not. Unless there's going to be an AM5 motherboard released in the next couple of weeks, which I think is extremely unlikely. But anyway, we'll see. What is Kath looking at now? What was all that?
That's just looking.
Oh, crazy fool. Anyway, moving on. So, yeah, lots of stuff coming out. So don't buy an expensive AMD processor right now. Definitely don't buy an expensive NVIDIA graphics card right now. And probably don't buy a high-end AMD Radeon graphics card. The mid-range ones and the cheaper ones, feel free, knock yourselves out, fill your boots. RTX 2060, RX 5700, and anything below that is completely fair game. You may think to yourself, well, there's better value stuff coming out, but there is, but it's not going to be until next year, realistically. I would be amazed if we see any of the kind of 3070s or 3060s actually in stock with good availability until at least the new year. So if you're looking at building a PC right now, which I guess a lot of you will be, because we've all been kind of waiting and waiting and waiting, and now it's like, okay, what do we do now? Do what I do yourself a placeholder build. So get yourself a nice motherboard, get yourself a decent power supply, although you might want to hold off on those a little bit. Prices are still a little bit jacked on that. Buy memory now. Memory is at a really, really good price, really good value for money, so definitely take a look at that. CPU wise, go for low-end AMD. You cannot go wrong. You will get your money back to some extent, pretty much 75% of it, I would argue. I bought a Ryzen 3 3100. It is a cracking processor. It genuinely is. I'm amazed at the amount of power that thing puts out for, what, £85 here in the UK, maybe £90. Phenomenal value for money. So if you're just looking at building a PC, you want to play some games now, but then maybe do an upgrade a little bit later, Ryzen 3 3100 all the way. RTX 2060, again, fantastic card. It really does hit the right spot as well for the pricing at the moment. If you can pick them up for 250, thereabouts 275, great cards. Moving down a little bit further, RX 5600, XTs, those kind of things. Even pick up yourself a RX 580. You can pick those up for really good money now, even brand spanking new, so if you don't want a used card, because some people don't. RX 580s here in the UK, £150 brand new, all day long. So there are some really, really good alternatives. You don't need to go and buy yourself a 3080 or get another high-end card. Just get a placeholder, stick in your system, coast along for a little bit, at least a month, see what AMD is going to bring out, then you can make your decision. And I would almost guarantee that for those of us in the UK, if you can use something like CEX, you can take your Ryzen 3 3100 into CEX in the box, you'll get a fantastic deal on it. Or even put it in your local Facebook marketplace, that kind of thing, or eBay. I guarantee people are hungry for these lower end parts. They're going to sell, so you're not going to lose out much money. You will probably lose a little bit, but not a great deal. Or better still, keep those parts, and then maybe when things settle down a bit more, get yourself a cheap motherboard and build yourself a little cheap gaming PC, and then flip it on Facebook, eBay, or friends, relatives, whatever the case may be. Do you have a question, Catherine?
Yeah.
What is that question?
Ugly Bob says SSDs are quite a good price now. I can't see it now, it's lost.
Ugly Bob saying that SSDs are a good price. Now that is a really good point. If you're buying storage at the moment, this is a really, really good time. So DRAM pricing has gone down the shitter. Excuse my French, but it really has. So DRAM is really cheap. SSDs are really cheap. NVMe drives are really cheap. Bizarrely, I did the video the other day, which was the comparison between the different drives, and even the pricing on there. By the time I'd recorded the video, looked at the prices like the day before, recorded the video, uploaded it, by the time it was live, the prices were way out. It's ridiculous how much they're dropping, and they're dropping really, really quick. You can pick up some of the kind of off-brand Chinese stuff, a 260 gig drive, 250 gig drive, 240 gig drives, for like £20. Here in the UK, £20 for a 240 gig SSD. It is that kind of insane pricing again. The kind of almost like Black Friday pricing that we had last year, where we've been picking up like 1 terabyte SSDs for £60, I think it was. Kev and myself, actually, have I got it? Yeah, I have actually got it here. We picked up these TC Sunbow drives, which actually totally fine. They're not rocket speed, they're not super, super fast, but they get the job done. 500 megabyte transfers, what more could you want? 60 quid for a terabyte SSD, come on, that is good value for money. Although saying that, I've just taken all of these out of my system to replace them with NVMe, because NVMe drives are super, super cheap. I've just upgraded my rig, so I've got a 1 terabyte Windows drive and a 2 terabyte kind of games or editing drive. Yeah, I am NVMe all the way, just like Aletta now. Next thing you know, I'll be buying a LAN case and water cooling the heck out of it. Okay, so that is enough of that. So do you understand where I'm coming from? Does it make sense? Am I just being a tight, miserly SOB? I don't think so. I think it makes a lot of sense to hold on to your money, see what's available. If you've got the cash and you put it to one side and you really, really want that GPU or you really want that CPU, of course, go and buy it. Feel free to do it. And if you're going to do it, use our affiliate codes, because every little helps. But what I'm saying is, just use a little bit of caution. We know, or we're pretty much guaranteed, that the upcoming processors, the Ryzen 5000 series, are going to have around about 25%, or at least so they're saying, about 25% uptick in clock cycles. So even if you buy a chip with the same frequency, 3.6, 3.8, 3.9, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be about 25% faster than its previous version, which is then going to give Intel a real run for their money. So all of us, we gain. It's going to be a win-win situation. So even if you buy a processor now, it's still going to be good. If you buy one a little bit later on, hopefully it's going to be a lot better. And hopefully for a similar sort of pricing, which would be amazing.
That's my ass. Is the Sunbow reliable?
Is the TC Sunbow drive reliable? Yes, I would say it is. They're SSDs are a weird one. They really are. It's difficult to actually kind of gauge reliability. You can go into the smart section and you can look at the detailed information there, but it doesn't really tell you about kind of wear leveling or load leveling. So you don't really know how much wear the drive's had or how much wear and tear it's had. That is quite a difficult thing to really validate. As terms of reliability goes, I've been video editing on the drives. Best part of a year, I guess now. Is it 8 months or so? When was Black Friday? That had been, what, November last year? So yeah, pretty much a year. I've had both of those drives in my system, and they've been in use pretty much every single day, apart from when I've been like kind of ill or whatever. But I would say arguably kind of 360 days of the year, easily, They've been on from the time I wake up in the morning to pretty much midnight when I go to bed, or later if I'm streaming or playing silly games with Achea and the boys. Yeah, reliability wise, I haven't had a failure yet.
Is it dramless?
Is it dramless? No, it has dram. There is I believe it's a 256 DRAM cache on there. I should take one open actually and have a look, but I'm pretty sure there is a DRAM cache on them. Although the DRAM cache isn't the be-all and end-all of drives, as we discussed in the video previously. DRAM cache is useful, but ultimately, like anything, it fills up. So as soon as you've filled up that cache, your drive goes into oh my god mode and doesn't know what to do. So you're sometimes better off having a drive which either has HBM or HMB, I never remember that one. So it basically shares your system RAM and it can buffer accordingly. They actually work out really well, especially for larger file transfers, because the buffer kind of modulates itself with your system RAM, so it works out really well. And it's very unlikely you're going to fill up your system RAM because you've probably got, what, 16 gigs or 32 gigs, whereas most SSDs at best have got like a 1 gigabyte cache, so Windows cache is the way forward. I think that's the way it's going to go. Okay. I think that is pretty much it. Yusuf Fazis, or Fazzy1, says, if you live in the UK, you can get the 3800 at Courage PC World. I very, very much doubt that. I expect you can pre-order it, but I doubt if you'll actually be able to get one.
Oh, I think somebody was asking where could you get one in the UK.
Oh, sorry.
Place to get one. I think that's
sorry.
the answer. Sorry, that was a long time ago.
Oh god, there's tons of questions here.
There is tons.
Yeah, Kev says using the TC Sunbow drive all the time, no issues whatsoever. Yeah, they've actually been really good drives. I gotta be honest with you, when I first saw the TC Sunbow drives, I was skeptical because they were cheap AF and it's kind of like an unknown brand, and you're like, do you? Well, I'm trying to think what sizes I've had. I've had a 240 gig, I'm sure I've had the 500. I've got two 1 terabyte drives there. I've also got a 1 terabyte NVMe drive, which is in the streaming PC behind me. And yeah, they've all been really good. Elemental Gaming MC says, hey Mike, by chance, do you know if the RTX 3060 is confirmed? I think it's kind of an unwritten thing that, yes, the 3060 is going to be a thing. The 3050, again, is kind of, it's a unsigned deal. We pretty much know it's going to happen. Anything lower than that, like a 3030 for OEMs and stuff, is less likely at present. But the 3060 has been confirmed, and I'm pretty sure they confirmed it for the beginning of 2021. I think that was the release date. I'm pretty sure the 3070 was towards the tail end of October, and the 3060 was confirmed as being kind of Q1 2021. Maybe someone can look that up and confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that was what was said in the keynote. Swipe says, how much would a 1660 Super sell after the 30 series are fully out? Whew, that is a very difficult question. The 1660 Super at the moment sell in the UK now, I believe, around about the £200 mark. So when the entire 30 series are completely out, I would probably imagine it's likely they're going to stay very similar. I don't think the prices are going to change that drastically. Some of them may go end of life and not be available at all, but it's actually quite difficult to put a definite figure on it. Oh great, there's a daddy longlegs flying around. Just when the cat's... Where is the cat's
There's
kill?
a cat down there. I think he's got it.
Where are we? Thug Tech Gamer says, hi Mike and Kath, and the British Noob says, oh god, Thug is here, bye all. Very, very unkind, but hopefully it's just banter. Dave Bell says, King Dan is the only failure I've had. I did have a failure, I'm trying to think which drive it is that I had a failure with, but I think it was mostly my fault because I actually put one of those RAM cooling chips on, the ones with the quite strong adhesive, and when I took it off, I'm pretty sure I lifted the chip a little bit, so I think that was pretty much on me. I'm trying to think what brand that was actually. That was a little while back. Right, let's try and get up to date here. Kodak hack, whatever, I don't get it. How to know what GPU is good when buying second-hand? That is a that is the million-dollar question. You never really know with buying a second-hand GPU. It could have been abused, it could have been lovingly cared after and vacuumed out every week. You really are playing kind of Russian roulette. A very difficult one. If you're in the UK, CEX is really good. I know I keep on saying that, but they are really good. They give a 2-year warranty of all their purchases. So even if you get a card and it turns out to be a dud, then you can either get a refund or a replacement. And we had a super chat come from David Aitken. £2.50 of his hard-earned dollar. Have some of my money as nvidia didn't want it. Yes, there is a lot of that about at the moment. Oh, we've got another one come in. Skystalker is 10 Canadian dollars and says nvidia didn't want my money either. Might as well put it to use. Thank you very much. For those of you that are new here and don't know what the hell's going on, when there's a super chat that comes in, if you haven't put a smiley face in it, then it triggers the IFTTT and then triggers the RGB light bulb. So I get a notification, and also you get to set the alarms off, and Kath has to get up and turn the lights off, which gives her exercise for her buttocks, which is great. Okay, so moving on. If there's anyone's questions I haven't answered, just put them in again and I'll try and get through to them. I will try and answer all of your questions if at all possible.
Can you tell Simon Arden I've made him moderator so he can put his link? No, he's done it now.
Yeah, Simon Arden, your link can go in there.
He's done it.
Simon Arden, for those of you who don't know, there is in the UK a website called Hot UK Deals, or UK Hot Deals. I always get that wrong. I think it's Hot UK Deals. Yeah, HUK Deal. Hot UK Deals. You can check them out on the web, mobile apps, etc., and you get notifications. Basically, it is a deals site. So if there's any deals in the UK, they get flagged up on there or posted. And certain people, Simon Arden being one of them, actually posts an absolute metric shit ton of great deals. So if you're into your PC stuff, you're into bargains, and you're based in the UK or sort of surrounding areas, I guess most of Europe really, because you can get shipping over there, definitely worth checking out and following Simon on UK Hot Deals. Tristan G says, I think the majority of GPUs people are using will retain value for the user, not in the resale market. However, most folks using GPUs are quite capable today. Chasing the dragon thing. No, chasing the dragon's never a good thing. You should definitely not chase the dragon. That is not a good thing to do. And I think that is what it's all about, essentially. If you've got a graphics card, if you spent a load of money on it and it was good a couple of days ago, it's still good now. There's no change in the performance of it. The only thing is your card has devalued slightly in the second-hand or used market. But it still is exactly the same card, and it'll play exactly the same games, exactly the same refresh rates, or maybe slightly higher with newer drivers. But you know what I'm at. If you spent money, like me, I bought the RTX 2060, the KO. It cost me £270, and yeah, after Christmas, the 3060 will probably be out, and probably would be in a similar price point, maybe £300, and it will probably knock the stuffing out of it. But that is in the future. I need that card now. It plays Flight Sim 2020 absolutely fine. All the other games rock. I'm only at 1440p anyway. I'm not balling on 4K. So yeah, why not spend your money on your graphics card? These lower end cards, I know £270 is still a lot of money, and I'm not being disingenuous when I say that. It is. A lot of people can't afford that, and I'm in a lucky position where I've done some bits and pieces. I've got 2 jobs effectively, YouTube and a day job. So I'm trying to earn money, and I reward myself by buying things that I need to use or like to use. So that is why I've got it. Normally, most of you know me, I would be on the budget end of the spectrum. £200, £150 to £200 is normally my sweet spot for GPUs, because I don't need to spend that much money. I really don't. As much as it'd be nice to, I don't need to, so I don't bother. But the 2060 is, I would say, probably the sweet spot for me. And hopefully the 3060 will be exactly the same after. Kota says, I don't know how to turn them off. My caps lock key isn't working very well. Stop shouting! Ugly Bob says hot UK deals. Okay, what else we got? ClickTech Kev's thrown £2 in the kitty. Says put this towards a 3060 next year. Bless you, Kev. Don't forget, I am a massive shill, so Kev has thrown some money in the hat, so please go over to Kev's channel, ClickTech UK, and do all that YouTube love stuff.
It's just ClickTech now.
Oh, it's just ClickTech, sorry. My bad. Okay, so...
Oh, now look what's happened, Kev.
What's happened now? Kev's broke the machine again.
Oh, he's broken and lost my
Oh no,
chair.
it's gone. And Kath's lost her chair now. GT Racing or GT Player, whatever the case is, please, 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 can you send a pink chair or a chair that doesn't seem to have catnip in it?
Sorry, but it's my chair too. Fatty.
Ugly Bob says, at Simon Harden, are you the guy who's always posting CCL deals? He posts all the deals. Literally all the deals. Tristan G is super chatted us again. So there's $2 come in, and he says, I like that you advocate sensibility over hype. Thank you. I got to be honest with you, I am always considering the future of this YouTube channel, because the channel always was set up to be one of those things where I wanted to show people value for money. And obviously, as the channel grows and we get more and more companies coming to us and saying, oh, do you want to review this? Do you want to review that? It's getting to be the point where we're getting quite a few subs now. And I know that eventually we're going to get to a point where companies are going to be sending us higher value items. And it's going to be really difficult for me and puts me in a really awkward position, because as much as I quite like to see those products and test them out and to have them for myself, I don't know if I would actually spend my own money on them. And that's something that I've deliberated on quite a lot. It does weigh quite heavily on my mind. Will I be still true to my kind of inner beliefs and the way I do things with these higher end parts? I could quite easily, well, not quite easily, but I could, I suppose, if I really pushed it, I could knock on the door of MSI or Zotac or various other companies and say,
Sorry.
And say, could you send me a high-end graphics card for me to review? But ultimately, I don't think it would be as enjoyable for me to review it as it would for me to save up my own money and buy a lower tier graphics card, if that makes any sense.
Well, that's what we do have. Wouldn't give it the glory it needs.
Yeah, that's another point as well, yeah. A lot of the stuff we have, like I've got low-end processors because I don't see the need for me personally to spend a lot of money on these really high-end processors, so put in a top god tier graphics card with a mid-range CPU probably isn't the best of ideas anyway, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see how things go. YouTube might disappear like that, you never know. We'll worry about that when the time comes, I think. Glenn from our Discord, one of our moderators, has thrown in £2.69 and put it in towards the 3060 fund. Bless you, thank you very much. It's yeah, it is. It's very kind of you all. Thank you. It's actually, having a YouTube channel is very, very humbling. It really is, because you get to see what you get to see how other people react and how people buy stuff. Again, actually, one of the videos that we did this week would be, we did a video for Jim Sloan. Now, Jim actually reached out to me and sent me an email from the address below that you can see down there, mike@mikesunboxing.com, and he was asking questions about building a PC. He hasn't done it, and he's got some parts he was given. For those who know the video, I won't go through the entire details, but he basically wanted to know what he could get for, I think it was like £800 budget, and he was in a really good place already, so he didn't really need that amount of money. He was just playing the same sort of games as I do, and I could have went completely crazy with it and really spec'd out processors and graphics cards and that, but he didn't need it, and I felt bad kind of telling him that he did need it. So we went for a relatively modest build. I think that was a Ryzen 5 3600, and I think it was like an RTX 2060, which is kind of like where I'm at. So yeah, it kind of made sense. A 1660 Ti would have been, or 1660 Super would have been absolutely fine as well. But that is kind of where we're at. I don't want to be blowing £2,000 on a PC, because ultimately, is it going to give me any more enjoyment or satisfaction than a £600 or £700 PC? And in fact, today, doing the benchmarks for this Phantom Black Gaming CPU cooler, with that Ryzen 3 3100, and I just put the 1650 Super in there just as a GPU. It was such a snappy little system. It was just really responsive and a real pleasure to use. And I've thought to myself after, like, how much is this actually costing, this level of kind of happiness in a box? And it isn't a lot of money, so it means that for me, I can get people involved in PC stuff. People come to me and say, oh, I want to build a budget PC. That is the kind of people that I really, really want to help, and I want to help them make good, informed decisions. Hence why placeholder PC builds are definitely a thing at the moment. Anyway, I've missed out a couple of super chats there, so let's. I should address those. Dave Burns has put in £5 and says Bob would be.
You need to go up to the first one.
30. That is the first one.
No, up again.
That's Glenn's.
Right, ugly Bob.
Yes.
Okay, do that one.
I'm not too sure. I'm confused now. So Dave Burns has put in a 5 and said Bob would be dead in dog years.
It's his birthday on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Aletta says 3080 shortage is all because Tech Jesus at Gamers Nexus has got them all and is basically taken them apart and destroyed them. Bad man. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Angel Churchill says hello. Sorry, Angel, I didn't see you in the comments there. Not sure if Mum did. Oh, she did.
Yeah, enjoy your holiday.
Enjoy your holidays. Boxwood Green says, I'm just collecting parts for my mid-range build in Canada. Is it still cloudy in Canada? It was yesterday. I love Flight Sim 2020. Yesterday evening for us here in the UK, which would have been, I guess, it's 8 hours difference, so 12 o'clock, so about 3 p.m, 4 p.m. in the afternoon over in Canada, and it was foggy. It was basically pea soup. You couldn't see a damn thing. So hopefully it's cleared. At least I hope it was clouds and not smoke, because obviously they've got the fires and stuff still raging, I guess, over there.
That's more America.
Bit scary. Yeah, it's very VC is quite close to the border, isn't it? Anyway, moving on. Let's not bum the deal out. So Boxword Green says, just collecting parts for my mid-range build. I know I said that just now. What parts are you buying? Mid-range build in Canada. That could mean anything, because Canada is quite a wealthy country. So it could be actually balling over there. Fit and Local says, hi Mike, not sure if you'll know, sorry. I really like the look of those in-wing Saturn fans you reviewed recently. Thank you. Any idea if they will be in stock in the UK? I'm not too sure. I will, how can I easily answer that? I've got to be honest with you, at the moment it's really difficult to find out, because it's kind of doing a stream thing right now. Maybe if CAF can have a look and see if they're available in the UK, we should have a quick look on the Amazon. They were supposed to be from Monday this week, coming, from what I recall. Might have been Friday, might have been Monday. But it was the tail end of this week that they said that they would be available. So hopefully they will be available. CAF's just checking now, so if they are, she'll put a link in the video in the description here.
In-win site they're available, I think, but.
Oh yeah, in-win site they're available apparently.
But I think they're having supply problems at the moment.
Yeah, supply problems as most of us in the world. Dave Bell says, Mike, as long as you're true to your ethos, not a problem, as is Paul's Hardware. Yeah, actually, I do quite admire Paul's Hardware. He does kind of stick to his guns, although he does still do quite a lot of high-end stuff, which I guess, well, if he's got the money, then why not? Hassan J says, I love that Mike reviews things from Sharkoon. It's such a great brand. They are actually, I do like Sharkoon stuff. It is really, really cool.
You missed 2 super chats.
I have missed, have I? 3060 fan, I haven't. Sensibility over height, I haven't. I don't think I've even scrolled down to him yet.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So Ugly Bob's thrown in £2 and says, pro tip, IKEA is always an alien. Good point. Good point. Dave Burns, £5 super chat again. Thank you, Dave Burns. Appreciate that. Make me a mod on Discord, please, so I can ban Bob. This isn't Kerry Holzman's channel. We don't work like that. You can't buy a moderator badge. Bit political, do apologise. Okay, so anyway, that is the things that you shouldn't be buying. So high-end GPUs from AMD or the other company, NVIDIA, the name escapes me. Don't buy a high-end processors just yet, because there's just such a, what is the date? 19th today. So the launch is on the 8th, I think, or 7th of October, or at least the announcement. So in theory, maybe 2 weeks after the announcement, they'll be actually available to buy. So in a month's time, in theory, as long as it's not a paper launch, which I doubt if it is, because AMD normally actually do some pretty decent launches. They generally do have quite a lot of stock, although the Ryzen hype train is rising quite rapidly. So there is now a much bigger audience to satisfy the needs of. So the first Ryzen launch, there was stock everywhere. The second generation, things were pretty good to start with, but now we've gone on another 2 generations, well, half generations, so there may not be much stock available because there is a massive amount of people to cater for. So who knows, but it would be really good. And I'm quite looking forward to it. The Giant Killer says, this is why I love your channel. You keep it real. I believe the majority of us come here for your reviews because we're not looking for parts that will cost you a kidney. This is, yes, very, very much. Phil White says, I love your stream. Have you any time to do any system diagnosis? I think that would be a good angle to go. Why are you handing me pens?
Dave Burns.
Dave Burns.
I think you need the sack.
Mike's Unboxing pens available to our Patreon backers. If you do want a Mike's Unboxing pen, dual function pen. Why am I doing this shield stuff? If you want a pen, you know where to get them.
It's Dave Burns.
It's Dave Burns.
Bob triggered because there's no pen.
Dave. There you are. Mike's Unboxing pens. Don't buy that one. That one will be broken. Anytime to do system diagnosis. That would be an interesting. I'm not too sure. How would we do system diagnosis in a stream? But
say we got that one.
I can't show that.
It's broken.
Yeah, I know. So we've got the postcode on.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Skystalker says it was smoke and cloud. Great. Perfect combination. Dave Burns at Cafeteria, you missed super chats. I think I've answered them now.
Yeah, you have.
Where are we, Ugly Bob? Ugly Bob says Kerry can lick the sweat off a tramp's back, in my opinion. Oh dear, that doesn't sound great. Gary Haig says product placement. Yeah, a little bit. Skystalker says, I may be in trouble, the low cider light is on. Uh-oh. James Miscellaneous says, writing apparatus, yes. Dave Burns says, shill, he's a shill. I admit it, I'm a shill. I'm quite happy to admit it. I'm the British Linus. I don't have sandals on today.
Don't even own any sandals.
Alexa says, I always wait at least 2 months after a product release to allow time for all the bugs to be worked out. I think that is the sensible solution, and maybe even wait a little bit longer just for the prices to kind of reacclimatise themselves. I think there's a little bit of AMD sourness going on there, so we won't go into that. Oh, Phil White says, peeps sending their rigs for repair. Yeah, that would be interesting to do. We did, yeah, ages and ages ago, probably about 2 years ago, I actually did put out a post on Facebook to say to local people, if you've got a PC which is broken and nobody else can fix it, then maybe you can hire the M team. That's me.
You didn't put anything like that?
No, I didn't. I just said there's a freebie. If anybody wants a PC fixed, just so I can do it on the channel for some entertainment purposes, bring it on and I'll fix it. they pay for parts, but I'll do all the labour free of charge, etc. And not a single person took me up on it. Not a single one. It was a relatively small group, to be fair. But maybe we'll do...
we might get one.
We might do that again if people want to send me their PC and they want it repaired. Or if maybe if they've got an old PC they don't want and they just want to send it to me and for me to either salivate over or to pick it apart or to clean it or tear it down. Yeah, literally tear it down. Then, yeah, maybe we could. Ugly Bob says, any plans on doing some reviews on cheap-ish gaming chairs? Now, actually, funny enough, there is a company that reached out to us this week. I can't remember the name of the company now. You remember? No, can't remember. But basically, he said, like, we're a new company in the UK, basically like a warehouse company, and they send out stuff cheaply because they basically it's a warehouse. It's not a retail store. What are they called?
Armada Deals.
Armada Deals is the company. And they seem to be mostly UK based. And they said, do you want us to send you an exercise bike to review? It's like, not really, but actually, yeah, maybe a bit of COVID spread happening. So yeah, what the hell, let's do it. So they're going to send me an exercise bike to check out, just to mention their company name, so works for me. But they've replied now and said, oh, by the way, we've got some gaming chairs coming in, really cheap. Do you want to take a look at them as well? It's like, hell yeah. Gaming chairs are cool. So yes, to answer that question, we will be having some cheapish gaming chairs. I'm not too sure exactly how cheap. Although saying that, the GT Player ones are actually, I think they've just been reduced, haven't they? They're under £100, aren't they? Quite a bit now, I think. So yeah, I would say the GT Player, well, I can't speak for myself because Kath and the cats have always got the bloody chair. I've literally had that chair underneath my buttocks for less than probably 8 hours total, but it was pretty comfortable in those 8 hours, I'll be honest with you, although 2 of those hours were probably doing the review. But Kath, well, she won't get up off the damn thing, so it must be pretty comfy.
I do get off it because the cats get on it. I'll put the link to that video.
Waldo135 says, hi Mike, do I get a HDD or SSD for my Steam games? My old HDD was loud and broke eventually. That is a very good question. Depends on how many Steam games you want to store. Now ideally, I would personally go for a 1TB SSD. Don't go for an NVMe, not necessarily, because generally you're not going to benefit that much from the game loading times. Although, having said that, after putting my NVMe drive in for my games library, Flight Sim 2020 does seem to load noticeably quicker. Now, unfortunately, it did coincide with an update which came out yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before, so it's really hard for me to ascertain specifically if it was pre or post update. Actually, let me know in the comments if any of you play Flight Sim 2020. Have you noticed that the update that happened recently has improved significantly the loading times, or is it just because I've swapped drives? That'd be very interesting to know. For Steam games, if you've got a massive library and you like keeping them all on there, then solid storage, like a hard disk drive, is going to be the best way to go because you can get a lot more on there and just put up with a slightly less loading times. If you've got maybe probably about 500 gigs, then an SSD is a good option. SSDs generally don't tend to work particularly well as they get past halfway full, which is one of those things that people don't generally talk about very much in terms of SSD and NVMe storage. Because of the way that load leveling works and all that kind of stuff, as the drive fills up, so say that's your full drive, when you kind of fill up to there, you've only got this spare area here for load leveling. And the load leveling does take time. So it does actually slow your drive down as it becomes more full. And yeah, that's one of those things that is the kind of unspoken thing which people do not talk about. But it's definitely a thing. My video editing drive, I deliberately stored all my previous videos that I'd edited and made for a good few months on my SSD. And I did notice when I got up to around about 750 gigs, the drive was definitely a lot slower than it was when I deleted it and maybe had like 250 gigs on my terabyte drive. So that is something to definitely bear in mind. So if you're going to be getting kind of right up to the limit of what the drive can hold, it will start slowing down. So maybe mechanical drive would be your better option. So hopefully that answers your question. Also, it comes down to cost as well. Paul White says, IKEA chair is doing me fine at the moment.
Is that Marcus?
I bet that's the IKEA Marcus. The IKEA Marcus chair is a fantastic chair. It really is a comfortable chair. Excuse me, we'll have a drink.
I'm just getting James's reply now. Getting it wrong. I thought he meant you.
Okay, so Waldo's good with that. Awesome. Aletta says, Flight Sim 2020, no way, it would take me 60 years to download it. Yeah, it is a pretty beefy one. So Skystalker saying loading times are about the same for FS 2020 here, 2TB SATA SSD. So maybe it is the NVMe. Obviously an NVMe is faster, and because Flight Sim 2020 is pushing an absolute ton of data, then maybe that is, I've actually found at last a validatable reason to upgrade to an NVMe. There we go.
You missed.
What have I missed?
I think you missed Simon Arden. If
I
buy the parts, will you make it and sign it?
Simon Arden, yes, if you buy the parts, I will build it and I will sign it. I'll build it.
Make it.
I'll build it, make it on a stream.
And you'll even sing the theme tune.
And yeah, I will do it. I will do the whole thing. Yeah, we could do that. I would quite like to do that, actually. Fit and Local says yes, and over provision your SSDs, peoples. Yeah, that is a very good thing. Kodak. I heard that having RGB in your PC gives you more FPS. Yes, that is exactly right.
It's like the stripe alongside the car.
Yeah, it's like pinstripes on 70s and 80s cars, always the way. Britfire says, IKEA Marcus chair here, X-Display from the Bristol store. Awesome, 55 quid winner. Hello to a fellow Bristolian. Simon says, you missed my questions, I was being serious, lol. Sorry, I do miss loads of questions. It's because I start talking and it all goes wrong when that happens. But yeah, I'd totally be up for that.
True.
Memex1975 says, what's the deal with AMD and NVRAM cooling when using AIO? I'm not entirely sure what you mean, if I'm honest. Maybe, can you rephrase the question? Or can someone else rephrase it so it makes sense to me, because my brain is old. And that's pretty cool. I just noticed on the YouTube live thing, this video so far has had 666 playbacks. Number of the beast, yo. Simon Arden says, okay, deal, pink case it is.
I'm jealous though.
I bet it's going to be the DK D3. I'd put money on it.
Is that about the NVMe?
Carl the Jackal says, can you do a build in your kitchen for authenticity? Yeah, sure. I can definitely... No, I can't. I've tried doing videos in the kitchen before and they end up horrible because the lighting was awful.
Is it NVMe cooling?
AMD could be. Not too sure. Skystalker says, actually that sounds like a great stream. Mike, build your PC for free on stream. Yeah, we were, at one point, we were going to do that for one of our regulars, Angry Doge. We were going to build his PC, actually with him, in a stream. But because of the whole COVID thing and lockdown, that kind of put a real dampener on that whole thing happening. And I suppose actually building a PC with someone is a bit more difficult because of COVID and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, send me the bits and I'll build the damn thing. Happy days. Waldo135 says, do you still recommend the GameMax F15? Have you seen the MSI MagForge 100M? Yes, Waldo135. The GameMax F15 still, for me, is the ultimate case. Actually, yesterday, actually, where is that clean stuff? Kath, can you pass that up, please? The win stuff. Now, if you've got a PC and you're a dirty beggar like I am, definitely get some of this stuff. This is from Wins. We sell this in our local car store, but it's Wins dash and display cleaner. It's got like a matte finish, but it's not like what you're thinking it is. It's not like one of those silicone-based dashboard cleaners which makes it all slimy and horrible. This stuff is amazing. It works on touchscreens, tempered side glass panels, amazing on those, but it makes the plastics look like brand new. Now that case I've had for, must be getting on for about 6 months now, I guess, and it was dusty, it's dirty, it had biscuit crumbs, it had coffee spills, you name it, where I've been eating at my desk while I'm working. You know what it's like, we've all been there, haven't we? You got like kind of soup splashes or KFC drips, all that kind of stuff. Come on, don't deny it, we've all got it, all of your PCs. Come on, look at your PCs now, look down, and your keyboards and mice, look down at your keyboard and mouse. Is your keyboard disgusting? Is your mouse disgusting?
What about man DNA?
Yeah, have you got like DNA all over this? All over it, everywhere? You don't want it. So this stuff is bloody amazing. It evaporates, so it doesn't leave any smears or residue, it just cleans all the dirt. You can use it on touchscreens, so I've used it on my monitors, used it on my keyboard, my mouse, you name it, I use it on everything. It is bloody excellent, and it's about £4 for a trigger, which actually makes it cheaper than most of the cleaning products you buy these days anyway. So definitely, if you're in Bristol, Motor Parts, bristol.co.uk you can use, or Motor Parts Downend, where you can see me. Yeah, get some, it's good stuff. Very good stuff. I would, if you get it and you're not impressed with it, I'll buy it off you. You can send it back to me, I'll buy it off you. It's good stuff. And actually, I was surprised because my mouse, I've got the GameMax Strike. It is GameMax Strike. GameMax Strike gaming mouse, and it's got like a matte finish to it. And obviously, because you've got greasy fingers, and you always see on the mouse, you got like, you can see where you've had your finger on the left button and the right button. It just, you can see it. It's got a little bit shinier. But this stuff, put it on there, rubbed it off, and it looks like it literally came out of the box. The GameMax F15 case, the front of that was awful, but the plastics have all come out like, it looks like new. So if you're flipping PCs as well, buying these old things and then turn them on, making a profit, whatever, it's worth investing in this just to make them look as clean, and actually gets rid of the smells and stuff as well, because it's got some, oh, on the keyboard. Glenn halfway, good, hello Glenn, goodbye Glenn.
You came in at the beginning, didn't
I didn't see him there, sorry. Oh, I'm rubbish. I'm a rubbish human being, I really am.
Well, Greta be happy with that cleaner.
Greta will be happy because it contains lots of things.
To go and see.
No, Greta probably wouldn't like this. I don't think she would. I'm trying to see the ingredients, but it doesn't say.
It probably does.
It just says silicone-free, matte finish, touchscreen safe, cleans, restores and protects dashboards, touchscreens and interior trim. Safe and effective on plastics, leather, vinyl, rubber and wood. There you go. That is what you want. Good stuff. Can you see it? I can't see it. Anyway, get some, it's definitely good. It's got that kind of really clean smell to it as well, which is really nice.
Keep out of reach of children and do not ingest those.
Yeah, don't drink it.
Good.
Sorry Glenn, I didn't see you. Glenn was one of our old buddies from back in the BBC Casualty days, so sorry I didn't see you, mate. Simon Arden says, I have the GameX F15 and I've recommended the F15 many times. It is good as is, but every now and then it's getting a common error, bad batch of 20mm fans. GameX hasn't been that grand at helping. Yeah, I did find actually in postage for some reason, mine, one of the fan blades actually came off. So I just pushed it back on. It is a fluid bearing, so it's not brilliant. It has got a little bit of a wobble to it, which isn't great, but it still works as, it's still my daily driver, which is unusual for me because normally I change my case like, almost like I change my underpants, which is moderately frequent. Christmas and birthdays, yeah, obviously. But no, that case has been there, and I actually do want to have it on display because I really do love the look of it, but I don't really want to buy another one because I've got one, if that makes sense. I don't want to do it. I have seen the MSI Mag Forge, and I got to be honest with you, I didn't like it. I'm not overly keen on it. I do actually want to buy an MSI case to go with my MSI motherboard, my MSI keyboard, mouse, and have a completely MSI setup. But yeah, I'm not that particular one. I'm not keen on the Mag Forge. I don't know why. Something about the front of it just doesn't work for me. Oh, Glenn says, no worries, take care. Will do, buddy.
Did you do the ASOS ROG game in...
No.
No, Antonio.
Antonio. Wherefore out there, Antonio? I can't see Antonio. There's too many words and letters on the screen. Britfire says, my missus thought I had a mate round when she heard the accent. Also, the Ions KZ10 ready for Son's PC rebuild after your review. Yeah, the Ions KZ10 is a totally cool case. I've actually still got it. It's in the front room in the build, waiting for someone as a kind of Christmas present sort of thing. So it is still here in the house. Yeah, what a great value that was. What was it, £28 or something? Absolutely amazing. Matthew Day says, hoover out the keyboard. Yeah, definitely hoover out the keyboard, turn that sucker upside down, shake all the stuff out, and then clean it with something like that to sanitize it. Well, actually, that's what it is. Yeah, it's like hand sanitizer. The smell of that stuff has got a bit of that in there. Dave Burns says, Mike, now teaching how to clean crime scenes. Yes, it will remove most forms of DNA. Billy Kay says, my Lian Li is immaculate and it's not a food or drink zone. Oh wow, Dave Burns is getting into that, so I'll leave that as it is. Kodak says 5700 XT or 2060 Super. Depends. They're both probably in... Actually, no, 5700 XT is probably the quicker card. No, actually, this is 2060 Super. Yeah, that's a tough one. I would be hard-pressed to... Depends what you're doing. If you're a video editor or you're doing any kind of video streaming work, then the 2060 is going to take it. If you're just purely gaming, then probably the 5700 XT might have the upper edge. It depends mostly on games as well. Some games are really heavily pro NVIDIA or pro AMD. Right. Antonio, there we go. Hi Mike, is the Asus ROG Strix X570-i gaming worth 200 GBP for Ryzen 3900X stroke upcoming 5900X? I gotta be honest, it goes back to the whole ethos thing. ROG Strix for me is too many frills. Essentially that's what it is. It is a good looking board. If you've got the dollars to do it, then yeah, go for it. It is a fantastic looking board. The ROG Strix has got fantastic VRM setup on it. RGB is top notch. If you're planning on using it with Corsair, then it works really well with Corsair stuff as well. So that's definitely worth looking at if you're looking, because Asus and Corsair have got this thing now, so the IQ software works really well with their stuff. Yeah, I can't fault it. All I would say is there are alternatives which are of a similar nature for less money. But then I guess you're probably expecting me to say that. Personally, for me, I think the B550-A Pro from MSI, the X570-Prime P from Asus, all around that kind of 150, 160 mark are probably where I would generally be looking now. If I was rebuilding a system and I wanted bang for buck, but I also wanted full featured and decent VRM, then I think that's probably where I'd be looking. Maybe the Tomahawk board, not a B450, clearly, because that should have been on the list of things not to buy, but I didn't want to trigger too many people. Memex now is... so what's the deal with AMD and VRM chips cooling or the lack thereof when using an AIO? It depends on the case. Really, if you're using an AIO, just make sure that you've got decent case cooling, lots of air coming in, lots of air coming out. As long as you recycle the air and there's some airflow over these VRMs, if you've got a decent board, then the VRMs can get quite warm anyway without too much trouble. Ideally, you want to keep your VRMs right about the kind of 80 degrees mark, under full load if you can. Less is obviously better, but yeah, depends on your case setup and your fans and all that kind of stuff, so it's not a big deal. primarily, I suppose that's why a lot of people do tend to go with air cooling rather than water cooling, just so there is all that airflow around the system. Captain Meets Adventure says, can I clean dolphins with it? You probably could. And they would probably squeal with delight. David Thompson says it's $5.83 on Amazon. That's not bad. Although, is that Canadian dollars or is that American dollars? If it's Canadian, that's brilliant. If it's American, not quite so good. Oh, right, David Thompson says £5. Oh, right, in that case then you definitely want to go over to motorpartsbristol.co.uk and you can order it from their website. Oh, what a shill I am. Tristan G. Oh God, I've scrolled way too far. Tristan G says, Mike's unboxing reviews now too. Honestly, the 5700 XT is equal of the 2070 Super. I didn't realise it was quite that good. I suppose again, it comes down to titles, but yeah, that's a pretty beefy card. Maybe I was thinking of the 5700. Yeah, I think I probably was. It's been a long day.
It's been a long week.
It has been a long week. Rock Strix is a motherboard for Teletubbies, says Ugly Bob. Harsh, but kind of true. Although I can't say anything because I do love my RGB. Simon Arden says ROG equals overpriced crap. I don't think it's overpriced crap. I think it is nice stuff. It is overpriced. Definitely, you do pay the ASUS tax on that stuff. But if you want a really nice system and you want it all to match, then ROG, it's not a bad option. Just costs you a lot of money. Ugly Bob says, I prefer the ASUS Tough stuff. Yeah, I quite like the Tough branding. John Sullivan says, hi Mike and Kath, I'm sorry I'm late, busy evening. Sorry, not that late. Late enough. Casually late, I would say. James Brock says, did Mike say Corsair? I know someone who only builds in Corsair cases. I know that person also. Well, or at least I know a person who does that also. Eddie the Eagle 123 says, hi John, I want to get a pick that 1000 would work. Okay, completely confused. My universal translator is not kicked in on that one. Corsair for the win, says Mr. Donuts. I do quite like Corsair stuff. It's quite expensive, but it has actually, in fairness, that case I got behind me, which is the 465X, I do actually quite like it. And I was looking today, possibly swapping it over with my Co-Link Citadel after I did the build on it. And I was like, do I, don't I? I really do like the look of that case. The fans on the front do look amazing. They really do. It's just a quite nice case. It's quite quiet as well, which is nice. Just whispering along. We do like that. Charged says, could bad electricity cause mouse lag? Or off-sync feeling? Possibly. I would try different mice and see what happens. Dave Burns says, Mike, please say Sculper again. Please say Sculper again. Okay, Sculper.
Say again.
Sculper. Sculper.
Say it in the normal way.
I'm not saying it again. I've still got a bit of a cold.
Tunes.
Need some tunes. Boxwood Green says, looking for a passive CPU cooler that's not going to elbow the RGB RAM. They are a bit tall. Yeah, I know that feeling only too well.
The mice all feel bad, apparently.
The what?
All his mice feel like it.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a bit weird. I would get a PS2 mouse. Try a PS2 mouse so it's not USB and see if that makes a difference. Oh, I get it now. They said who only builds in Corsair cases, and it was CH, Kerry Holzman. I was actually thinking of someone else. I was thinking of someone a little bit closer to home on that one, a certain Mr. Aitken, who does love his Corsair cases, and also Angry Doge as well. He only builds in Corsair cases, although he's only built one PC, so that kind of negates that a little bit. Ugly Bob says, at Angry Doge, Kerry the bell end. I can't say that in a live stream, although I may have just said that.
You read that?
Yeah, I read it. I'm just retorting. No, I'm not retorting. Yeah. Tristan G says, I run all Corsair peripherals. Case is thermal take. Change it. Get a Corsair case. Sotengel says Corsair has some hit and miss, like any brand. They do, and they do spread themselves pretty thin. They have got a lot of products under their belt. And of course, they're also part of the capture card business. The Elgato is now Corsair as well, so they are spreading their wings into lots of things. So you've got keyboards, mice, RAM, cases, coolers, water coolers, SSDs. What else do they do?
Sculptors.
They do many things. They do a lot of stuff.
PSUs.
PSUs, yeah. Dave Burns says Aitken isn't here to defend himself, so rip him. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Water135 says, is the Ryzen 3 3100 with a GTX 1660 good for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020? Now, good is probably not going to be the optimum thing. Even a very, very high-end Intel 10900K or the high-end AMD processor, even with a 3080, still doesn't get over 60 frames per second in that at 4K. So good is kind of, you have to temper your expectations with this. Now, I'm using the 2060, which the 2060 and the 1660, kind of they're in a similar ballpark. The Ryzen 3 3100 may be your limiting factor. I'm not entirely sure whether 4 cores, 8 threads is going to keep up with it, but actually that might be something I could try, because I have pretty much got that set up. So I could try Flight Sim 2020 at 1080p and see how it plays. It might be alright. It only needs 30 frames per second realistic. Well, you can probably get away with 24 frames per second on that game without it being too kind of stuttery. And if you lower your expectations and also lower your resolution and also your sort of settings, you should find it absolutely fine. Although that is part of it. Last night we were flying in, was it Rio de Janeiro? Where it was night time and it's all lit up.
St. Martin's.
St. Martin's, that was it. We went to St. Martin's to try and land on their airfield, and yeah, that didn't work out very well. Actually, it did in the end. I did land it, didn't I? Yeah. I'm a pilot.
I went to bed after that, so I don't know what you did.
James Brock says, I've learned something new from you again, Mike. Thank you. What did he learn? James Brock learned a thing. Oh dear. Okay. What's that, sorry, Kath?
I went to bed after that, so you probably emailed DNA all over the keyboard.
Mr. Donut says, must get a Corsair case. Yes. Ooh. Okay. Charged, I would say, with your problem, join us on our Discord. We'll have a chat about it at some point and see if we can figure out what the hell is going on. Not the easiest things to do in a live stream, but we'll see. The real deal, the real D-Res. Wow. Colink's modular power supplies seem real nice and cheap. Just got one and it works well. Yeah, I've been meaning to try them out actually. They do seem to be pretty good. I think a lot of them are made by CWT, as are a lot of Corsair, Thermaltake, Rio Toro, you name it. Lots of brands use CWT. They're quite good power supplies. James Miscellaneous says, Alexa's PC hardware is a gourmet dinner. Mine is a peanut butter sandwich. Hey, peanut butter sandwiches are cool. Kids love them.
Who's kids?
Skystalker says, FPS is much less important in any flight sim program. Smoothness is the issue. Yeah, definitely. The frame time is going to be far more important than the actual frames per second. Much better to have lag-free with 25 or 30 frames per second than have 60 FPS and have kind of stutters and crazy stuff like that.
Go up a little bit. Brickfire.
Brickfire, 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 Brickfire. Yep.
Any thoughts on why?
Brickfire, any thoughts on why the second-hand part market in Bristol area feels so inflated? Prices are crap, totally. Even with ancient hardware, it seems impossible to get a good deal. Plebs charging 200 quid for a GTX 970. Yeah, actually, I've noticed that, and I don't know whether it is a regional thing or whether it's a national thing. Looking on Facebook Marketplace, there is like crazy prices for stuff. And you look at it, I'm on there thinking, it'd be quite nice to pick up a deal, just to something to talk about on the streams or to do a video on. And just looking through, it's like crap, crap, crap,
What about another
crap, crap.
Facebook Marketplace video? Would anyone want that?
Maybe. We might have to do that.
Thanks.
I don't think it's more regional though, I think. So I don't think it's, most people are getting, it's weird because in America people are getting like crazy deals. In the UK at the moment, everyone's like, keeping all their stuff to themselves, not selling it for silly money. Basically just ruining our fun. Which is not good.
But again, on our Discord, we have lots of discounted things going.
Yeah, I would actually agree. Yeah, Bristol is rubbish for deals. Luckily, we've got, well, Simon who does the deals on Hot UK Deals, so not so much Bristol, but at least you can get it online. Also on our Discord, we've got C McKnight, who's crazy, and he's just listing deals all the time, as are some of the others, but he does seem to be the one doing it most of all. So if you want to check out any of our bargains that we find, you can do it on our Discord. We've got a special room specifically for bargains, and being that I'm such a miserly SOB, you can generally find that I post in a good few ones every now and then. But yeah, there's a weird thing about the PC market, seemingly locally, where things are monitors are super cheap. You can pick up monitors all day long for like next to nothing, but there's either like the real cheap crap, low end stuff. There's nothing really mid range, and then you get the really expensive stuff. So that is a little bit weird. Japan1 says apparently Microsoft Flight Sim doesn't really use more than 4 cores. That's interesting to hear. So the 3100 should be absolutely fine for that then. Waldo135, Mike, you're making a video on the Ryzen 3 3100 with GTX 1660 Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. No, I haven't got a 1660, so I can't do it with that. I might try with the 2060 and also, actually, yeah, a 2060 and a 1650 Super. See if it will actually run and if it's actually enjoyable. It's not about if it'll run, it is about if it's an enjoyable experience. If it's not enjoyable, then don't do it. Mitch Hammond says, hi Mike. Hi James. Hi Mitch, how you doing? How many?
Off gaming.
Off gaming, sorry, didn't see you there, Off. Good evening. Kieran Atkinson says, I spent £120 on those in-win Saturn fans. They look amazing. Awesome, I'm so glad. What combination did you get, Kieran?
And up a little bit, Stephen Butler.
Stephen Butler. Is it worth upgrading my, updating, sorry, my Ryzen 5 2400G to a 3600, or do I go for a 3600X? Stephen, whoa, hold them horses, sonny. Don't buy anything quite yet. Sorry, Kath. Don't buy anything yet. It should really, well, the 3600 almost made my list of things not to buy at the moment. Earlier in the summer, spring, the Ryzen 5 3600 you could get for about £150, £155. At the moment on Amazon UK, I think it tops out about £188, almost £190. So the price has inflated quite substantially for that particular CPU. Also, due to the fact that we've got another bunch of CPUs being released, hopefully in less than a month's time, it's a really good time to kind of just either bite the bullet and go for something really cheap and cheerful just to keep you going. If you've got the 2400G at the moment, my personal feeling would be to hold on to it for now and just wait and see what happens. Play the waiting game. You may find that when the new chips are released, people are like, whoa, I've got to have the latest and greatest, and the 3600 potentially will drop in price and will be available on the used market. So definitely worth looking at.
You missed one earlier. George Grigg, he's new to the channel and loving it.
George Grigg says new to the channel and loving it. Ooh, there's a copyright strike if I ever heard one. Welcome to the channel. Britfire says, I see American and Aussie YouTubers swimming in cheap second-hand hardware. It makes me sad. Yeah, it's not great. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. Alf Gaming says, finally home in time to watch the stream. Awesome. Yeah, Soton Jill says, SSD and RAM is stupid cheap right now. It really is. I think we're going to be in a moment of that sweet spot. As soon as those Ryzen CPUs come out, as soon as they find out what the Infinity Fabric speed is going to be, that is going to be the defining factor for the next generation of RAM. So if the Infinity Fabric works well at maybe 2200, which possibly is going to be the sweet spot, which has been hinted at by a few places, then DDR4 4400 is going to be what everyone is going to try and get. So you'll find DDR 3200 and possibly 3600 is going to be really, really cheap. And I think a lot of it in the moment is a lot of manufacturers are getting to that point where they're like, okay, we need to shift some of this inventory because it's going to hang around for too long. James Miscellaneous says, any updates from Arctic regarding product samples coming your way? No, actually no. Arctic are in exactly the same position as basically InWin and quite a few others, where I'm not entirely sure if it's because of their geographic locations for getting products in and sampled or whatever, but they are really struggling with product. Also, Arctic have been blessed with obviously our good friend over at Gamers Nexus, I think then. Steve did the review of the all-in-ones, the 240s and the 280s, and gave them basically a golden handshake. So ever since then, people have been buying their stuff like crazy. So they've really struggled to keep up with demand. It's amazing actually what a couple of good YouTube reviews can actually do to a product. And even, I'm not saying that their product isn't great, because it is a really good product, but I don't think they actually foreseen the impact that having such good reviews. I don't think they really knew what they had on their hands at the time, is what I'm basically trying to say. So they've actually kind of paid the price almost of having a product which is so good at such a good price that they just cannot keep up with it. And that's obviously had a knock-on effect with the rest of it as well, because they need to obviously fulfill existing orders. Excuse me a second. So yeah, they have to obviously fulfill existing orders from both kind of OEMs, manufacturers and stockists, etc., before they can then put their efforts into other newer lines, which will obviously be a bit of a gamble and possibly not such a good seller. So yeah, sample wise has been a little bit lacking. Mitch Hammond says about the NVIDIA broadcast software. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that in full swing, broadcast software. Be something definitely be good to use here. Alf Gaming says, I had a 1650 playing Flight Sim last month. So there you go, it seems to be absolutely possible. Soton Joel says, my 5700 XT is a banger. At the moment, fine wine. AMD does do that very well. That is the one thing that you can always guarantee with AMD, that stuff is going to get better if it lasts that long.
Go and sing.
The drivers might not. Waldo135 says, Mike, I know for a fact the GTX 1660 will run. It's the CPU. Okay, fair enough. So CPU wise, should be fine. Crisis Free says, what NVMe drive would you recommend? Gen 4 is too expensive right now. Oh dear, sorry, my throat. The only ones I've had a real experience of is the TC Sunbow, which was actually very cheap and cheerful, running on PC behind me. I think that is about a 2000 megabytes per second transfer, which is reasonably good. The Silicon Power ones, I've tried all of theirs. You've got the A60, the A80, and what was the other one? I can't remember what the other one is now. But the A60 is actually a really good drive, quite quick, 3000 megabits per second. The A80 a little bit faster again, like 3.5. Both of them are really good, and I think they're really down in price as well. I'll see if we can find some links. Kieran says, got 2 packs of the fans. This is the Saturn fans. Is it Saturn, isn't it? Yeah, Saturn. I had to look them. Oh god, I've gone too far. 2 packs. 2 packs of 120 and one of 140. Cannot wait. My cable management is absolutely appalling, so the single wire was appealing. Oh, cool. Send us some pics on the Discord when you're done. I want to see what it looks like. I'm intrigued. Matthew Day says the RX 5700 is the minimum requirements for an FS 2020. Give that a bash too. That would be good actually, because the PC behind me is an RX 570, so we can definitely do that. Ugly Bob says the cheapest for 3600 is 185 on PC Part Picker. So yeah, I was in the ballpark. I thought it was about 185, between 185 and 190. So if the cheapest is 185, yeah, they are going to be in excess of that. Skystalker says the 2400G is a good chip. Yeah, they are decent. I've actually not had one. I would quite like one at some point. When they get cheaper, I will go for that. Gary says, I've run Flight Simulator on a 3700X and a 1070. I was very pleased with the performance. Yeah, I was the same with the Ryzen 5 3600 and a 1070 GTX. It actually ran really well. Aletto says, Ryzen 5000 series and X670 Mobos will be out soon. Yay! Skystalker says, COVID caught. Yeah, isolate him. Yeah, I've got a bit of a sore throat today. I think it's because earlier on I was eating some biscuits and like some digestive biscuits, and they got these kind of like fibery kind of things from the grain or whatever they're made from. I just got it stuck in my throat, I think. I have to drink some alcohol.
Do you want a beer?
No, it's okay. Thank you. Where are we? Okay, time is getting on, and
Matthew Day said about the gamepad.
Matthew Day, what, sorry?
Tell us something about the gamepad.
Tell you something about the gamepad. All right, we'll do that quickly. So this is from EasySMX. They sent this to me for a review. Essentially, it's designed to plug into your Nintendo Switch. And it's got all the shock feedback, all that kind of stuff. It is, if I remember rightly, in a kind of a turquoise blue. I think it's actually Bluetooth as well. So it can connect cordlessly. Cordlessly? That's like wirelessly to people that aren't stupid, like me. There's instructions, you can read those if you want to. It actually charges on USB Type-C, which I thought is pretty cool.
They can see the cooler as well.
So there is the controller. Actually pretty sweet, looks nice. I do kind of like those clear or transparent devices. Pretty nice. And if I remember rightly, the power button is it that one? No, it's that one. There we go. So you turn it on, it goes through, there's like the usual Bluetoothy type thing, so scanning to pick up with your Nintendo Switch. And there's also a button on the back to do the synchronization, etc. And if you press the... Which one is it? There's 2 buttons you press at the same time and it changes the rumble. So basically you can change the rumble function, all that kind of stuff. There's 2 motors in there, which you can see quite clearly. But yeah, overall, it's quite nice. Got your triggers, all that kind of stuff, your analog sticks, your D-pad. But essentially, it is designed for a Nintendo Switch, which, like I said, I don't have. So rather than it just sat here wasting away, I figured it'd be nice for one of you guys or girls to have it for yourselves. And then you can try it out and let me know what you think of it.
So, probably Monday.
Probably Monday.
We'll put a post on Facebook.
We'll put a post on the Facebook. We'll put it in the Discord as well, put links in there. And also we'll try and do some sort of post on the YouTube. So if you go into the YouTube community section for the channel, then there should be a notification there. So you can take a look and yeah, if you want to win it, just put your name in the hat and we'll... when will we find a person, Kath? We'll do it in the next Saturday stream?
Yeah.
I think that's probably a good idea. We'll do it next Saturday stream.
So write a comment on Facebook usually.
Yeah.
Done it with the pages.
Yeah, we haven't, have we? It's almost like
Like COVID took over.
COVID took over and the giveaway stopped because we didn't want to go to the post office and die of a horrible thing. But I think we're over that now. So that's that packed away. So yeah, if you want to win the Easy SMX, the model number, for those who want to look it up, is the YS07 SW Pro wireless controller.
Easy SMX.
EasySMX.com. So yeah, we'll be giving that away.
They wanted to look at the cooler.
You want to look at the cooler? Do you want to have a quick look at the cooler? See if there's a show of hands.
While you're debating for that, do you want Junior Thomas says, should I buy a 5600 XT or wait?
Wait. No, 5600. 5600 XT, should you buy it now or wait? I would say... I'd be cautious. It's in that kind of ballpark where it is still quite a lot of money. So it's in the kind of relatively safe zone at the moment. But in a month's time, that could all change. So, well, actually, it'd be more than a month, wouldn't it? 28th of October is the announcement for the new graphics cards. And they may not do the bottom or mid-range cards at that time. So potentially it's a good time for that particular card. I don't know.
Everyone else saying wait.
Yeah. If you need it, buy it. If you don't particularly need it, then I would wait. Show the cooler, sure, see the cooler. James Miscellaneous says, unbox it, it is your name and your destiny. Okay, let's have a look then. So, Gelid Phantom Black. This at the moment is $86, is $36, no, euros, that's the one I was looking for. $36.99 in euros over on Amazon.de. Currently, prices around the rest of the world are different. There has been a bit of price gouging and stock difficulties, so pricing has gone up in some areas. But if you can pick it up for the recommended retail price, this is pretty darn cool. It is finished in a kind of nickel, they call it nickel plated. So it's a weird thing actually, because it's called, I'll double check this, it is called Phantom Black. So the fact that it's got the word black in the title, you'd expect to see, well, more black, but you don't.
It says it on the fans though.
It does say it on the fans, but they're not black either. So there is the tower itself. So you've got an absolute ton of heat pipes in there. 7 heat pipes, you've got 4 small ones and 3 large ones. I think that's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 small ones, 3 large ones. Is that what I said first time? I don't know. It's been a long day. Anyway, so twin tower design. Got a really nice large block on the bottom. It's not copper that I can tell. At least if it is, it's been coated with this nickel plating. And essentially, actually, pretty much every single millimeter of this thing is being coated in that like nickel plating. So from some angles it looks black, some angles it looks grey, from other angles it basically looks like a mirror. Nickel plating is a weird thing.
I think it looks black.
It looks on camera, it probably, yeah, certain angles it looks black, doesn't it?
It does.
but actually in person it looks kind of grey. But I guess that's why they call it phantom black, because it's kind of like ghostly black. It's not fully black, it's somewhere
It's because it's see-through,
kind of in between. So you see the chrome underneath the plating through the nickel. Skystalker says very pretty cooler. James Miscellaneous says watch out, Mugen 5 noob cooler. James Miscellaneous says wow, that cooler is serious. It is, but it's not a serious price. If you think about it, most of the coolers on the market, say the Arctic Freezer 34 for example, the Cooler Master Evo 212, basically most of the tower coolers on the market are essentially half of this with a 120mm fan on the front. So that is where things get interesting, because this has not one but 2 fans. But the cunning thing they've done is you can mount them in 3 different places. So you can mount your fans on the back, you can mount a fan in the middle, and also obviously you can mount a fan on the front. There is actually an option, it doesn't come included, but you can actually put 3 fans on this. So it doesn't come with the extra 2 clips or the extra fan, but it is optional extra. But 3 fans, and these fans, they're not like, these aren't joking, these are proper serious fans. So these are the Gelid or Gelid. I don't even know, how do you pronounce it? Gelid? Gelid? I don't know.
Gelid.
Gelid? I don't know. Anyway, so these are the phantom black fans, and as you can see, they are, well, they're not really that black. There's an awful lot of grey in those blades, if I'm honest. I wouldn't say it's jet black, it's more of a kind of like a matte charcoal. The rubber pads there are probably the darkest part of it, and the frame is actually white. So yeah, the phantom black name I don't get at all. That is very confusing. If you actually said to someone, I'm going to get a phantom black cooler, you'd expect it to be kind of like nighttime, dark, 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 black everywhere. But it's not, it's actually quite bright. Anyway, so these fans, RPM wise, 750 RPM at the lowest speed, which some of you probably think 750 M, wow, that's pretty quick. Yes, it is, but it's silent. They are very, very quiet fans. The motor in there, I'm not entirely sure. It's not a fluid bearing because it doesn't want to move. I'm not sure, I don't think it's a sleeve bearing. I'm not quite sure what type of bearing it is. It doesn't stay, and they didn't say on any of their packaging or anything, so I'm unsure what type of bearing is in there. But basically, it is a 12 volt fan and top speed of 1600 RPM, lowest speed 750. So with 2 of these, actually it does create a lot of draft going through, but they are very, very quiet fans. I would say if I had to compare them with another fan, I wouldn't say they're quite as good as Noctua fans. Noctua fans are a slight tier above, but as in terms of moving air and noise, I would say these are better than the Arctic Freezer fans, the P series ones, which do tend to be a little bit noisy at the higher RPMs. But this, with my system when it was set up, I maxed out the fans about 1250 RPMs, and the difference between 1250 RPMs is basically silent. Going up to 1600, you can definitely hear them. But the actual performance in cooling between those two is so minimal. It was like 2 or 3 degrees difference in cooling performance. So personally me, I would adjust the fan curves, keep it down to a lower RPM just to keep that silence. The CPU I was using was only a Ryzen 3 3100, but idle temperatures were about 5 degrees over ambient, which is what you'd expect with this kind of tower cooler. The surprising thing was even overclocked to about 4.2, 50 degrees was pretty much the highest I registered on there. So this has got a lot of headroom. Works with up to 200 watts, I think, is rating. I think it said it on the box somewhere. Yeah, ultimate CPU cooler for Intel and AMD CPU with TDP over 200 watts. So this thing has got some serious room to grow. I should have tried it with 1 fan on. I didn't try that with 1 fan. I tried it with the pair on. Very, very good cooler. Very, I would say compatible. Compatible and competitive is both of those things because it works on basically every socket ever made, apart from S370 and some of the like really obscure stuff like slot 1 or socket A. Ton of fixtures, splitters, cooling paste, fan clips, all that kind of stuff, but you'll see all that in the full review. But essentially, if you're looking for a decent cooler for your AMD or your Intel, who were they? Remember them? If you're looking for a decent cooler and you want a tower cooler and you want to move a lot of air and maybe even a bit of future proofing, then yeah, this is definitely worth a look. Again, there will be a full video on this coming out in probably 2 or 3 days, I think. So what do you think?
Ambush UK says it means icy, extremely cold, which you did on, which I said we mentioned in the
Yeah, I actually did mention in the review what Gelid means, because I suppose it's involved in, it's Latin, so Italian is kind of based on Latin, isn't it? Or am I being stupid again? I think that is right, and you get gelato, which is basically ice cream or icy thing.
That's more Italian, isn't it?
Yeah, Italian is based on Latin, isn't it?
I don't know.
Who knows? We're not in the EU anymore, so we don't need to know stuff like that. Okay, so what's everyone saying? Simon Arden says looks nice for the price, £42 at the moment on Amazon. I'm pretty sure that Simon's going to post that in Hot UK Deals. Based on the performance, I would say for £42, considering what the other prices are at the moment for other coolers on the market, the 212, again, is only a single fan version.
Simon, wait till our review goes out before posting it.
Yeah, Simon, wait till the review comes out so people can watch the videos. I'm not allowed to say that because UK Deals will get us kicked. Yeah. But for the money, 42 quid, if you look at comparative products, Freezer 34, the Evo 212, what else is there? 120mm tower coolers. I suppose the Thermal Take Contact 12 is a little bit different because that is kind of more on the cheap seats, about 25, 30 pounds. But for 42 quid, this does give you a lot, and I mean a lot of cooling power. Look at the size of it. How many heat pipes can you actually use? It's like a heat pipe. It's just a heat pipe cooler. That's all it is.
Simon must have put it as I said it. I'll wait for your video then.
Yeah, actually, you can pretty much guarantee as soon as the video goes out on this, the prices are suddenly miraculously jack up a bit. They probably won't. You never know. So apparently it's pronounced Gelid. Okay.
Do you think the
that works for me.
60 Super for €200 is still worth it?
Maybe. Nicholas, maybe. Very, very maybe. Okay, so was that James Miscellaneous? Dan might just kicked some dirt on Intel. That's gangster live streaming. Just saying as it is. How heavy is it? That is a good question, actually. I wonder if it says on here. I didn't weigh it.
Do you want me to get the scales?
Weight is 1,020 grams. So that's
1.2 kilo.
That's a kilo.
You weigh about 100 of them.
Yeah, if I had 100 of these, that'd be about how much I weigh.
Until you get a bike.
Until my sports bike arrives. Yeah, so 1.02, basically a kilo. So that's a lot of metal. An awful lot of metal. It doesn't actually feel that heavy when you're holding it, but the bit at the bottom definitely does. That I like it. I think it looks really nice. I quite like the nickel plating. And just to see all those heat pipes, look at it. That is an insane amount of heat pipes, and the way they've got them staggered as well. Yeah, phenomenal. Amazing for cooling.
I like the top bit a bit different.
Yeah, the top bit is a bit odd as well. All those bits there. So all the pipes are U-pipes, so they're not just U-pipes on one side, they actually wrap around both sides, so yeah, good stuff. And actually one thing which I haven't mentioned yet is the bottom is offset. So if you've got a motherboard where the RAM tolerance is really close to your CPU, you can basically just swap it around the other way, and then you can have the offset to one side or the other. Or conversely, if you've got like a plastic shroud over your VRMs, just swap it around the other side and it'll give you an offset on the other side. So yeah, pretty good. The mounting mechanism for me is a little bit of a pain in the ass, because getting screws into those holes down through there isn't easy, and there isn't a thumb screw of such because it's spring loaded. So that is the one thing which I think they could have improved on, the actual mounting mechanism. But other than that, flexibility wise, to have the fans facing either way on both sides. So you've got those slots there, both sides. So the spring clips can be mounted in both directions. So you can have fans, yeah, basically pointing however you want. So push, pull, forward, backwards, whatever, the choice is pretty much yours. And for 42 quid, I don't think you can go too far wrong. So hopefully you'll like it. Again, the video will be out very, very shortly. And I think that'll pretty much take us up to the end, because it's almost stream o'clock for our friend Achea Shadow. And yeah.
It's gone past stream o'clock.
It's probably gone way past that, actually. So again, thank you all for joining us tonight. Hopefully you've answered all your questions. If I haven't, we've got a Discord chat. You can drop in there and ask any questions you want to there. If not, you can join us again next Saturday for another eventful, what's it? Stream? Full of me not knowing what the hell is going on, which is pretty much par for the course. So thanks to all of you that have contributed tonight and got involved with the community. We do appreciate that. Really nice to see all the new faces and some of the older faces as well. Thanks for the super chats. They all go towards helping us get stuff like this and keep the channel rolling on. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So that is it for tonight. Hopefully you've all had a good time. Have a good weekend, what's left of it, and we will see you in the next video. Kath, anything to say?
Night.
Kath says good night. Good night, everybody. See you next time.